The Siches in Likutei Siches Chelik Daled are the Siches that came out in the year Tovshin Chav Gimel, the weekly Likud. It wasn't called Likutei Siches then, the Likutim. They were called Teichen and Yoneh B'dach, but they came out in blue cover stencil. They weren't even printed, and they came out weekly. And then at the end, it became the 2 volumes of Chelik Gimel and Chelik Daled. Now, I remember, even though I wasn't involved, but a little bit, I had a shayches even then, even Tovshin Chav Gimel, which I was very young, I had a little shayches. So I knew a little bit what was going on in the inside. So, summertime, between Pesach and Shavuos, the Rebbe would say every Farbrengen, a Sicha and Pirkei Avos. And sometimes he would even say a second machzer, that after Shavuos, again he would speak Pirkei Avos, even though those years, Lubavitch was known to have a meaning that we do not say Pirkei Avos in the summer, we only say it in Pesach and Shavuos. But Lepel, the Rebbe sometimes would say it even then, and he said a few times that the Friedrich Rebbe, there are Maimorim, starting with Mishnahs and Pirkei Avos, during the time between Shavuos and later on, because obviously the Rabbein would say it, or sometimes would say it. So there was one time the Rebbe said a Sicha on one of the Mishnayos in Pirkei Avos, and between Pesach and Shavuos, Tovshin Chav Gimel, and then they gave out that Sicha in a likud for the next time that same Peder came around. Like this, when they put in the Sicha for whatever occasion, whether it's a Parsha or Pirkei Avos, it's sometimes taken old Sichas, like a regular look at the Sichas. Sometimes it just worked out that it was from that year. So one of the Sichas that the Rebbe had said on Pirkei Avos that year, between Pesach and Shavuos, became the likud for that same Perik, the second Machzer. Now, when they gave in the Rebbe the Sichat in Magia twice, there was something written there that the Rebbe said by the Farbrengen, and they gave it in the Rebbe to be Magia, and the Rebbe crossed it out. Okay, so they took it out. So when they typed up the Sicha to be ready for the second Agoah, they gave it in again, and the Rebbe put back in those words that he crossed out before. He wrote them in again, which were the words that he said by the Farbrengen, which is a Pella. First he said it, and then he crossed it out, and then he put it back. Shabbos by the Farbrengen, when that Likud came out, or that Teichen and Yonim came out, the Rebbe spoke about it, and probably most of the people didn't understand what the Rebbe was talking about, why he was saying yes and no, but the people who were a little bit involved knew. And he explained like this. He said this in the Sinyan. I don't remember now exactly which Prata, which Sinyan, but he said something. And then he said, ich habe reingetracht, and I saw that it's nicht durchgehalten. That what I said is not really true. So therefore, when I was Magia the Sicha, I don't know which word to use, Magia the Sicha, whatever, the Sicha, so I took it out because it's nicht durchgehalten. But then the Rebbe said, I thought to myself, Sof kol sof, I said it, and it was said Barabim, Bifnei Asorim Yisrael, Kama Asiris Mi Yisrael, but Mele, it has to be true. Habe ich getracht wegen dem, and then I realized how true it is that it is true. And that's why I put it back. And the Rebbe explained in the Farbrengen why that thing that he thought wasn't right, and he gave the reason why he thought it wasn't right, how really it is right. And that's why you put it back. So from here we see Bechlal that when something that the Rebbe said, even when he says that it's not right, he said clearly, he himself said, must be right. If he said it, must be right. I, B'shas Ma'aseh, didn't see how it's right. But when he thought about it, he realized that this is really right, and he put it back. And it shows how every word of the Rebbe is meduyik, even if Kiviyachal his kavanah is not for it. Which is connected to when the Rebbe sang the Nigen Hualekena, put in the ayayay, which seemed to be it just happened that he didn't fit in, so he said the ayayay. Later, when Teleshevsky sang the Nigen without the ayayay, when everything was Masuder, the Rebbe told him he should say the ayayay, because if he said the ayayay, that's how it's supposed to be. The Rebbe himself, when he davened for the Omitted, in most cases, and Shabbos did not say the ayayay, but that's probably a different reason, because the Rebbe, when he davened for the Omitted, he's saying Chazaros Hashatz, it's Shmonesre. By the Chazan, it's Shmonesre. In middle of Shmonesre, you don't say ayayay. When you say Kedusha is not Shmonesre. So you could sing, but when you're the one that's saying the Chazaros Hashatz, by you it's Shmonesre. Could be that's the reason. I don't know. The Svaras, we can all say whatever we want. But it all shows that if the Rebbe said something, Azay does. But in this Sicha, we saw that he explained why he put it back, because if Barabim B'fnei Asorim Yisrael, muss sein was gehalten. It shows that every word is meduyik.